Hello everyone! Today we are going to take a deep dive into a game I designed called Mind Chess. You can use traditional Chinese here. You can see that the subtitle of Mind Chess is Strategic Evolution, redefining classic Minesweeper. However, this Minesweeper is not just about clicking numbers and then analyzing and thinking before clicking flags. It is a game that truly involves battles between the red and blue sides. If you want to learn more about the background, story, interface design, and development process of this game, you can find we also have a beginner's tutorial, which includes some simple tips. Of course, right now it's a guided video, so I won't specifically use the beginner's tutorial. There are 3 modes. One is single player, one is multiplayer, and the other is against AI. As for the AI mode, I won't demonstrate it much because responsiveness might not be great either. As I also don't play this game very well at the moment, I still need some data to help me create a more challenging AI, so I'll skip that for now. As for the single-player sandbox, there are these developer tools, namely dev tools and sandbox tools, that we can take a look at. Here is the single-player sandbox. This is called the developer tools, and we can increase my energy by 100. Alright, 100. And here we have 100 here, so anyone who is injured can allows you to be completely unharmed. Skipping a turn means jumping straight to the next turn, no matter what you are doing right now. Pausing the timer allows this setup phase to stop, making it easier to test. And that's actually how it is. The developer tools are just a feature of this single-player sandbox. So let's return to the focus, which is the 2-player battle. Let's open another window. I've already set this up, and it's okay that this is the English room. We have opened the lobby list here, so I'll use this to create a room. I have room number 175, and the room name is Test. No password is needed. Also, if it's convenient for testing today, I've enabled the sandbox tool that comes with the single-player sandbox we just discussed. If you want to be fair, you can choose not to enable this for now. So I enter it, and you can see that we are waiting. And then our status shows that we are connected, which is great, so the host here can start the match. You can see this is a player match, and now let's formally introduce this game. Here is the update log, which means if you are a bit out of the loop, or if you are someone who really wants to know what this game is currently doing. Then there are some strategic reviews, or if I can clearly see what the enemy just did, I can update the log here. We will describe it in detail, but due to time constraints, let's pause here for now, otherwise it will be the main dashboard for your operations. You don't need to worry. It won't be particularly difficult to explain. Here is our only resource called energy. The energy for actions, which currently has 50 points at the beginning. It's all 50 points. And then we will have income, meaning that after this round, you will receive income, which will be divided into this. The base will gradually increase with each round, while the interest is 2 points if you currently have 50. The redstones are represented by these various purple crystals. If you stand on them until the round ends, you will gain a certain amount of energy. After defeating these characters, you will receive some energy. This is the evolution tree, so let's explain it later. The main focus is on this character. Each character has their own specific tasks. Once you complete the task, like dealing 4 points of damage, you can unlock the evolution condition for this skill. You can spend 10 energy points again. Yes, each one costs 10 energy points to gain this ability. And next, then we have we need to choose one from these 3. We can select both the second and third options. As you can see, we have 5 characters here, each with their own traits. And later we will also select some that I find interesting to introduce 5 characters. The first one is the general, so let's enter the official game. In the initial setup phase, you are asked to place some landmines, and these some landmines are free. These positions so are feel random, free to place them, but I still want to maintain some randomness. However, rest assured that you still have some control this time. For example, if you want to place the general further up here, Minesweeping. This is called mine laying. If you want him a bit further forward, and this is called the general and the Minesweeper, and they will switch places. Or if you think the UI should have the ranger in the next slot, then I can drag it here. Wait for the green box to appear, there is an enemy preview here. As long as your mouse approaches this area, this kind of enemy preview will appear. Let me introduce it. The enemy preview is a more synchronized preview feature. Let me demonstrate one of them. Since the general is in the first position, it is synchronized if the general wants to move to the 5th position. Wait a moment. We can see that the general has now reached the last one. This should reasonably prove that the game is proceeding in sync. So once we complete this step, let's switch to the opponent's side, and I'll also give it 3 mines. Alright, let's adjust the position. It's almost see that we enter a stage called the thinking state here, which occurs once in each round. You have 30 seconds to think freely, because when it really comes to the action stage, you won't have that much time to think. Here we have a bidding system, because in this game, whether you go first or not makes a big difference. I'll bet 5 energy first, so let's let Blue go first, and I'll give him 3 points of energy. If you bet 5 points, which is more than 3 points, it means the Blue side will act first. As you can see, the Blue side has acted. The first unit we need to move is the general along with the Minesweeper. If you don't like this configuration, you can simply drag it, and the blue outline represents what you need to choose for this turn. Currently, you can choose freely, but if you want to start taking action, just press start turn again. Alright, I'll press it, and you can see that our general can start moving now. Let's first use the developer tools to add a few hundred points of energy. That will be better. So this game works like this. You can move up, down, left, and right. And you can also perform other actions, like attacking. Right now, we don't have any targets here, so you can't attack anything. But don't worry, you just need to reach the destination. You see, stepping on a landmine here is fine. I'll help him regain health later. There is a red box for attacking here, and you can attack him. This general has another function, which is to pick up the flag and move forward. It will also show you that you can carry the flag too far. So what do this represent? The victory condition of this game is actually to place your flag here, in the position of the enemy's original flag. Once you do that, you win the game. Another point is that if your general dies, you lose the match immediately. However, if any other character dies, nothing significant happens. You just wait for 1 or 2 turns to end the game. The attack button works the same way. Because our game is called Minesweeper, but I believe the general still has a certain level of lethality. The ability is just not that high. He needs to spend 8 energy to deal 4 damage, while a regular mine can deal 8 damage with just 4 or 5 energy. This attack is somewhat like a lethal strike, delivering very stable damage. And now that we are almost done here, let's end the turn. So here is our evolution. What did we just do? We caused 4 points of damage, and with that, we can upgrade this one. This is a bit difficult to explain, but actually, for example, you just when I attack him, it a bit he will retest yourself my vulnerability. You understand it then, a little better. When he gets hit by a landmine, he will take a bit more damage, and if he attacks again, he will gain a certain point of landmine vulnerability, totaling 2 points of permanent vulnerability unless he dies. So let's leave it at that for now. And let's heal him up a bit. Alright, everyone is healed up. Give the next
So let's
part
do
the next action. We just tried that general. So let's try Minesweeping. Minesweeping is also a very cool unit. So let's first add a bit of energy to facilitate the demonstration, which can check if there are any landmines nearby. But you have to manually press each one. Each time it will consume 4 points of energy. But you can reliably check for landmines. There's in the
a landmine
vicinity here, so we know we can step on it. This is just for your reference. I think it's okay. There's really nothing here. This is blocking my view a bit, so I'll turn it off. We see that there's a landmine here, and I've also demonstrated this step, so we can also clear the mines. Let's continue. Just now, we also had a mine clearing action. Here, we can see there is a landmine from the enemy's perspective. I can see that my landmine has been spotted, so what should we do now? First, pause for a moment and skip this. Then we can ask our ranger to move on. Good. We can see that there is actually a passive effect. It means that his movement consumption is relatively low. And you can see here that if this landmine is spotted, you can pick it up and move around. Alright, I'll place it in front of you, and soon you'll step on it. You can see that the landmine has already disappeared. The ranger's movement has disappeared from the enemy's line of sight. You can see that there is no longer a symbol for this landmine here. So next, all those landmines we just talked about are all free. What should we do if we want to make landmines later? This is the part for making landmines. And you can see that we can currently only place some basic landmines. Let's proceed with other demonstrations. Well, we actually have many types of landmines. Like, let me take a look. All of these are different kinds of landmines. So from the basic landmine to this far, there are a total of 5 types of landmine I find very interesting. Upgrading to level 3, of course, means an immediate upgrade, and you won't have to complete any tasks, but this is only applicable if you have the sandbox tool. I'll try this first. This is a slowdown mine. Here is a smoke mine, and then there's a nuclear bomb here. But for now, we can only have 5. As you can see here, I often forgot that we can only place 5 landmines. Here to demonstrate. Here we have a breakdown of the damage caused by each landmine. For example, this slowdown mine causes 4 points of damage. Then let's find someone to step on it. I'll note it down. The location is under this obstacle. We'll switch to this, and we'll use the mine clearer. So what characteristics does the mine clearer have? It looks almost the same, but it has an additional demolition function, which is actually quite an impressive role. How should I put it? You can see that his health is the 2nd highest because the game ends as soon as the general dies. The 2nd highest health is actually very impressive as well. You can see that when I step next, it should deal 4 points of damage. But I actually only dealt 2 points of damage. Why is that? This is not a bug. It's just that the landmine itself has a 50% damage reduction. So you can see the effect of this landmine, which increases my movement by 2. Actually, I have 5 here. So why does it become 7 when I get here between the blue and red sides? Once you reach the red side, it's like crossing the Chu River and Han border, and movement becomes more difficult, but that's okay. I remember there was a smoke grenade here, and you can see that when I step on the smoke grenade, it will create a smoke area. Then I start down a landmine again. Anyway, this diffusing is just that tough. Let's leave it at that for now. So what concept does this smoke have? That's fine. We've almost demonstrated everything. I'll jump straight to the next round. And we won't beat on this one since we've just demonstrated it. Let's see who goes first. And it looks like it's the bull side. Now let's demonstrate skipping the turn after you spin. If you don't take any actions, it will be our turn. You can see that skipping the turn consumes 10 energy points. But why would you want to do that? It actually allows you to use the last round, which is usually 2 out of 5, and you can use 2 out of 6, allowing 2 characters to act consecutively in this round. Let me explain. If I place a landmine here, that's what I think. This nuclear bomb and the chain mine of 3 out of 1 belong to you to try and see if you want to play with it. In fact, this special effect and its fun aspects are quite numerous, and it's just a teaser to let you come and try it out later. So we can see here that we placed the mine, and we can let our mine detector check if it can detect this mine and see how the fun effect looks. We deployed our device to move it a bit, and I remember it was in this area. Let's see if we can scan it, but unfortunately, it cannot scan in the smoke area, so these all have different effects. Then we'll only try these 2 effects at the front, and you can play around with the other 2 yourselves. There's also a building from the self-discipline workshop, and I'll show it to you later. Let's take a look and introduce some different features of Minesweeper. For example, it can build a tower, so we can place our building, which looks like this, standing right here. Actually, every time you upgrade, there will be different changes in appearance, which is very interesting. You can take a look. This obviously looks a bit more glamorous. So what is the purpose of this setup tower? You can see that if I set up a tower here, well, we know that there are no mines in this 3x3 area, so let's place another one here. Well, there are no landmines here either. We finally reached a place where there are no landmines at all, and here we can see that scanning can be performed. And this is the detailed situation. Because this building was originally only supposed to allow for 2 rounds, as indicated. At the second level, he will set up 2 towers, and then one of the 3 is 1, where you can place 2 effects of 1, which you will definitely find annoying if you are on the right side. You will find it very annoying that I can't place any mines in a 3x3 area. So what should we do? We can see that there is another icon here. Let's choose to use the ranger. Then we walk to this part of the building, and we can use 2 points to demolish this building. This landmine has been spotted again, so let's quickly move away and place it somewhere random. The eye symbol will disappear, indicating that it can no longer be seen. Now we can see what abilities this game has. These are some parts of the building, so I'll just briefly go over them and let it level up. This is called a hub. Everything we move here will be reduced, which is similar to that quick movement building insert, making your walking feel very light. Then at level 2, another one will appear that allows you to teleport directly. Let me demonstrate. You can teleport directly, but the building will disappear. As for level 3, you can explore that on your own. The ranger's second ability enlarges your pickup range. Originally, you had to step on it to pick it up, but after upgrading, Then you can see that you can also pick up at level 2. You can become invisible. And you can see our color becoming very faint. Now, I will step on this area with many petals. You can see this. Note of that. I remember we were on either side of this obstacle just now. It looks like there's nothing here. But in reality, I turned on invisibility. Now let's revert it back. And we can see it again, actually. These are the 2 levels of the Ranger after this. Let's take a look at what other features there are. We've introduced all of this, but what about the demining effect? He is someone who allows everyone to have a damage reduction ability. If you step on a landmine, everyone can have a 50% damage reduction. And it will further decrease actuals. There will be one instance where if you step on a landmine, the opponent will help us recover health. Let's take a look. I can't demonstrate it right now because I'm thinking about it. We can do it this way. So let's have the Ranger reduce their health to sharp points. And then we can skip this round. Now you can see that we can start defusing the bomb. So we preset it. Actually, our Ranger currently has 15 小时 health points after this life enhancement. And we will recover 1 health point. So why does the health go from 12 points to 15 points here? You can see that there's still a regeneration of 3 health points here. Which means if you don't do anything, you can passively regain 3 health points. This is somewhat similar to that Brawl Stars game. And then we can see an explosion occur. Alright, we took a bit of damage. And I'm really sorry, but we don't have any evolution here, so we can't see its healing effect. But it's okay. Let's let him regain some health. Let's see what other otherwise he might die again later. There's one here. Let him step on it. And look, there's a special effect. Our Ranger has returned to 16 demonstration of a certain ability for the other level 3s. Please go and explore a bit. We also have some bomb disposal areas to add the circle. And there are some other abilities. I think all of these are considered more advanced abilities. Then we will demonstrate later. Right now, we don't have any landmines to disarm. Let's wait a moment. We will place a few landmines here. Alright. We have placed a few more landmines. We can start demonstrating. As you can see, we can scan for mines here. We can see that there is one slowing mine. And after it has been detected, we will skip the turn and take another look. Let's have him set a little bit of a first bait, and the decision-making power is also in my hands. Let me demonstrate how to disarm this landmine. You can see that this landmine is already in enemy territory, so we can disarm it here. Aside from this landmine, what are the benefits? In fact, you can reduce damage by 50% or disarm this landmine without taking any damage. Alright, let's see what else we haven't discussed. For example, this dexterous finger refers to the ability to dismantle mines and allows you to place the mine in another location. What use does that have? It may not seem useful, but actually, you know we can have up to 5 分钟 ES. If you place a mine in a spot where the Ranger can't move, it effectively reduces the number of positions where the enemy can place mines, and that's the main point. Let me take a look. We've talked about Minesweeper, and there's one more thing about it, so let's skip ahead a bit. We have one more ability in Minesweeper, which is somewhat similar to the classic Minesweeper. If you place one here, you can see how many mines are in the 8 surrounding squares. The level 2 effect means that you can also see how many mines are in the center, which indicates that you're performing a stunning action in the center. Since the mine has already been revealed here, it doesn't really have any effect anymore. You can see that there's one mine nearby. Alright, next, let me demonstrate this general. As for that general, he mentioned that there is an effect of this attack, and the next effect of the attack is to increase the attack range by 1 square. You can see that when I face this enemy, there is another spot to press 1 square below the cross. When we press it, it takes 4 points of damage and simultaneously gains heavy movement. Just like that slowing mine we saw earlier, for this turn and the next, it will have this movement increase. Then we also have this buff B, which is related to the flats. The flats are not considered buildings, but they can also trigger some special effects. This can be considered a landmark. Here we can see a 5 by 5 area, and we have a damage reduction effect. So if I step on a landmine while I'm within this boundary. Alright, let's shut that down. If we step on this landmine, it should deduct 8 health points. But we actually only lose 5 health points. This is a 25% effect, plus an additional 25% from the damage reduction, along with the effect of the disarming skill. If we step back behind the flag, I can also regain a bit of health because this flag restores some health. Alright, we've almost covered everything. There's one more thing, one more production. Let's go through it again, okay? Now we come to the last one, upgrading it to Path B so we can get a factory. This factory allows you to place mines from a distance. For example, even at the very edge, you can still place mines here, and these mines will increase your mine limit. At level 2, it will add 2. At level 3, it can add 3 or 2 plus 2. Well, we've covered most of it. And these update logs are also available. You can see there are many things you can review. And here you can push forward with some beautiful backgrounds. Actually, there's also an effect here that requires us to restore the timing. You can see it slowly depleting. And after this energy value of time, its rotation speed will increase, making you feel a bit tense. And you can see that if I keep moving, it will keep pausing time. This is to accommodate the player, especially if the time is not enough for a second. That's pretty much it. Now let's go back to the main page of the game. And as always, try to check out the beginner's tutorial. These are all tier-free crafted, and there are some very free strategies. You can see that this is my game. And if you're interested in seeing more of our works, we can click this button. This is Shield Studio, and these are some you can see my latest stories, working on the latest articles. And if you want to join us or contact us, that's also possible, just in the works section. That's pretty much it. Our game now has an official URL at itch.io. We still have a lot of introductory text here, and currently, all of it is in English. If you think this game is good, you can leave a message here. Or do you remember that you can rate it with stars here? It is what it is, or now you can start available here. And the interface is also quite similar to the web version. If you want to experience my updates immediately, rather than waiting for me to upload new ones, you can click this. It's also my web variant. That's mostly it. So I will conclude my in-depth discussion here. Goodbye everyone.